everyone. I'm Adam Brown, and this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, June 8th. On today's show, we'll join Ruth Deuber in the kitchen along with David Lee for an interesting tomato dish. And Heather Battey will learn about a Health Connections class on hydrating with flavor. But first, we want to remind you that tomorrow, the Academy of Lifelong Learning, in conjunction with the Legacy Foundation, is hosting a special seminar on thoughtful advanced planning with the National Cremation Society. Topics discussed include travel and relocation protection plan, veterans benefits, and affordable options and savings. The seminar begins at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands, and you can sign up at either service desk. On Friday, make sure you attend the LifeQuest summer event. The presentation, No Regrets, will highlight the spiritual dimension of LifeQuest, and it is supported by the Village Church and will feature Shell Point employee chaplain Scott Aiding. Join Scott as he explains why forgiveness requires overcoming fear, guilt, and shame. The program begins at 10:15 a.m. in the Social Center. And now it's time for another What's Cooking segment with Ruth Deuber. You may remember last week when Ruth visited the lovely home of David and Marge Lee, who gave us a tour. Well, David is back again with Ruth to show us how to make an interesting dish called tomato aspic. And what is that exactly? Well, watch this segment to find out.
Hi, I'm Ruth Deuber, and this is What's Cooking at Shell Point. And I'm here in the beautiful home of Lee's. This is David, and this is Margie. Margie's very involved with the museum, and at some point we'll find out what her mischief is down there with a beautiful show with the local artists from Shell Point. We're going to try something new today because David is new on my team here. We're going to do tomato aspic, and I looked up the history of it. And maybe a lot of you can remember it in your childhood, but it also goes back to 1375. Now, I don't know what they used for a gelatin. It probably was boiling the bones and, and using that to gel. But then during the 60s and 70s, every buffet you went to had tomato aspic on it. And I know the German tradition is to do it with meat, Süß and some of those that I'm not too fond of, but they look pretty when they slice them. But we're not doing that today. We're doing tomato aspic, and so I'm going to let David take over here while Margie is decorating the final product there. So David, talk about how you serve this.
Well, the fun part for us is we love to entertain, but we also like to have things prepared ahead of time so we can enjoy being with our friends as opposed to cooking. And one of our dear departed friends, Jane Morehart, this was her favorite recipe, and it comes out of her church cookbook. And this is one of our favorite things to serve people today because many people haven't had it, or if they had it, it's been years ago, and it brings back fond memories. So it's a lot of fun. So we serve it several different ways, and once again, when Ruth came over for dinner, we served it just as a side to our main dish. And Margie's the decorator du jour here. She's always, as one of the chefs who taught me so much said, you eat with your eyes first. And so we love to decorate, so we went down to the herb garden and picked up some herbs today. And so that's one way to serve it. Jane would always traditionally serve it as a ring mold, and this is how most people would. She would normally fill this with mayonnaise. And so this would be on a buffet table. And I guess we came up with one other idea too, just to give you another thought about it, is we thought you could also just serve it in a coffee cup on the table, just to make things easy for you, so that you could just sit down and enjoy your company. So I hope this gives you a few ideas of what you could do with it.
One of the only criticisms I ever had of my show was that I did not finish and dress my plates enough.
Oh.
So, because you have your own herbs, that won't happen when you do a show.
Well,
they look beautiful.
And I must confess to you that that's the hardest part for me, and that's why we call Margie the fluffer.
Okay.
and so, Ruth, we'll both learn together some different ideas.
That's
How's
right.
That?
That'll be wonderful.
Okay.
Now we need to know how we do it.
Okay.
You ready? Okay.
Sure. Whichever brand you use, they may come out a little bit different. I find in some of the brands like Del Monte, that I'm using today, they're big chunks. And I've learned over time to cut them up into smaller pieces. That's just my preference of doing this. And the other thing about doing that then is that there are some cores here that I like to get out and toss those away, just so that nobody eats a tough piece of it.
Now, how would you compare that with a can of diced tomatoes?
Well, diced tomatoes don't have any seasoning in them.
Okay.
And stewed tomatoes do have different seasonings in them, so they're a little tangier. That's a good thing to point out. And so I have to watch it because Margie and I can't eat garlic. So every once in a while, one of them will have garlic in it. Now, see, here's a piece. I hate to throw any good food away, but I don't want any of this toughness in here. So clearly, they don't use the best tomatoes. And it's fun to experiment with different cans, different makes, because it has just a little different flavor depending on which one you try. And of course, I always like to find the ones on sale.
I think we all try and watch that. Maybe that has something to do with retirement.
The other thing that I've kind of learned over time about you, Ruth, is simpler sometimes is better.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I take a lot of shortcuts.
How's that, Ruth? There we go. Now, we just heat it up and bring it to a boil. Okay, now that we've come to a boil, we want to add 1 pack, a 3-ounce lemon Jello. Now, don't do what I've done, or I guess you always have to do the mistake. I bought the pudding and pie filling once by mistake. It doesn't work. You have to buy the lemon Jello, and I always get the ones that I've never tried the sugar-free ones, but they would work just as well. So we're going to pour that in. And as the recipe says, stir it till it's dissolved. And I have to use my favorite spoon. This was my mother's wooden spoon, so lots of memories. It looks like we're dissolved. So now we remove it from the heat. And we'll take it back over. And I'm following our recipe today from Jane, who puts the final ingredient is 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And
that's what gives it that little kick.
That's that little extra kick. I will confess to you that I often just put 2 in it to give it a little less kick. But Jane is looking down upon me today, and I got to follow the recipe exactly to the letter. So, and when I put it in the molds, I don't normally put spray in it, but you know, it would be a good idea to spray your mold ahead of time with a little cooking spray, just to make it a little easier for you. This is the one I use. There's a bunch of them on the market. Whichever one's on sale is the one I get. But the way we most often do it is in a square pan, just to make it easy. So we can just cut up a piece of what we want when it's done. And there you have it. So we'll let it cool a little bit here. Then I put it in the refrigerator. And I'd say in about 2 hours, Ruth, we're ready.
Yeah, that's quick. Yeah, that would be great.
And the nice thing about doing like this, plain is sometimes better. You can just cut a piece off. We sometimes, if we serve it this way too, we'll just sometimes take a little piece of lettuce and put a square on there.
Could. Yeah.
So
yeah, you could surround it with some sliced cucumbers or
Yeah,
avocado.
absolutely. Never thought of that. Yep.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So there you have tomato aspic.
I would like for us to have a taste of one of these here. So get it.
I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Or you should take the decorated one, Ruth.
Oh, that's right, I should.
Yes.
Okay, all righty. There we go. Oh, Margie's done a great job in decorating this.
Just a little tang to it.
That's a wonderful taste.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful taste.
There.
Wow, thank you, David.
And
I'm going to
I
put
can't
this.
thank you enough, Ruth,
Oh.
for letting me be a part of this today.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to many more shows with you, David.
Okay.
I'm going to put this up on the website, so I hope you'll try it. And as you say, you have many ways to serve it, but oh, it's so good. I love it.
I think we'll finish this off today.
I think so. I think
Well,
we
we have
might
the-
have some for the cameraman too.
Oh, we better. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you again,
that's
Ruth.
all.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
And now, Heather Battey of Resort Services brings two dietitian professionals from the pavilion into the studio to talk about hydrating yourself with flavor. They will discuss the hydration you obtain from foods and the flavors that make them up. For more information on this interesting Health Connections class coming next week, here's Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Battey with Resort Services. Today I'm here with two special guests that actually work right here at Shell Point in the pavilion. I have Courtney Niebauer and Sandi Brower. They're both going to be here today talking to us about an upcoming Health Connection program that is based on hydrating yourself with flavor. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
So Courtney, you're a registered dietitian
Correct.
in the pavilion. And Sandi, you are a diet registered technician.
We're diet technician registered.
There we go. Perfect. So Sandi, can you tell me a little bit about this program?
Sure. National Nutrition Month's theme this year was Savor the Flavor. Okay. So we have incorporated Savor the Flavor with hydration and the importance of hydrating yourself.
So hydrate yourself with flavor. So does that mean different flavors in the food that hydrate yourself, or?
Yes, actually, one of the things you'd be surprised at how much fluid is actually in foods. Mm-hmm. And by coming to our program, you will learn this. Okay. And what will surprise you is the amount of water in particular foods that you wouldn't have known.
I can see kind of with the fruits and the vegetables, but is there even other foods that have a lot of water and hydrate you?
More vegetables than fruits.
Oh, really? I definitely would not have thought that. What is then like the highest hydrating
You'll
food?
have to come to our class.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to share that with me.
But one of the important parts of hydration is regulation. Mm-hmm. And the importance of drinking a lot of fluid or getting enough hydrating fluids is to keep your body regular.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people still really don't understand how much we actually have to drink or should drink in one day.
Correct. I was actually just working with a client today who had similar questions as far as the approximate amount of fluids to be drinking to prevent dehydration.
Right. And you would think also sometimes people say, oh, I'm, so bloated or full. And then one of the recommendations is to drink more water. And it kind of doesn't seem that way. It kind of goes, it seems backwards. If you're feeling full already, why would you drink so much water?
But it's really important, especially in the elderly and especially as we get into the summer season, the importance for enough fluid intake.
Oh, absolutely. Can you share with me what are some signs of dehydration?
Dry skin.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Another one that might be taboo to say on TV is you can tell that you might be dehydrated if your urine is darker in color.
Right. Yeah. No, that's all great things. I know that both for the aging population, even for children, it's always so important to be hydrated. And then the more medications you take to make sure you're hydrated as well. But like you said, we don't want to give away too much.
No.
So this program is actually called Hydrate Yourself with Flavor. This is on Thursday, June 16th, and it is at the Social Center. Make sure you call either service desk to sign up for this and learn some more tricks about what you can do to hydrate yourself. Thank you, and stay happy and healthy.
I'm Caitlin Van Scoy, and I'm here to tell you about the Lobster Bake this coming Monday from 6 to 9 in the Woodlands Commons. I hope you bring your appetite. Dan, what are you doing here?
I
can't hear you.
Hi, Caitlin. I got you some lobsters for the Lobster Bake.
Well, let me see that. These look a little small, don't you think?
Too small?
We promised everyone over a pound lobster.
Over a pound? Well, these are no
These
good.
are too small.
Hey, I know.
What?
They got really big ones in Maine. I'll be right back.
Wait. Well, I guess he's going to Maine, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you Monday.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to the Happenings segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley.
And I'm Caitlin Van Scoy.
And we're going to tell you what we have for activities here today at Shell Point. We're going to start with 7:45 Men's Bible Study. That's in the Osprey Room on the island. At 8 o'clock, we have pickleball at the game courts. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the men's round robin tennis down at the Woodlands. Jurassic Travel will be in the egret room from 9 until 12 if you have some personal travel needs. Also at 9 o'clock, we have the watercolor group with Phil Hilton in the art studio. The Fine Mark Investment Roundtable will be going on at 10 o'clock. That's in the Manatee Room. Also at 10 o'clock, we have the Ladies' Bible Study in the Osprey Room on the island. Men's match play tennis will be down at the Woodlands at 10 o'clock. And also at 10 o'clock, if you've got a pet and you're going to be here for hurricane season, you want to go to the Pet Owners Hurricane Seminar. That's in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. And we have a Health Connections class at 10:15, Lifestyle Modification. That's in the Social Center. You do need to sign up for that. The Model Yacht Sailing Club will be down at the Woodlands Commons Lake at 10:15. Also at 10:15, we have Study with the Pastor in the Hospitality Room on the island. At 11:30, we have another Health Connections class, Bar Ball Edition in the Tarpon Room. And that is our last activity of the morning. Caitlin, what's going on this afternoon?
Well, Bev, we have a busy afternoon starting with Advanced Strength and Conditioning. That's a Health Connections class at 12:45 in the Tarpon Room. Chess is available at the Library Lounge at 1. And moving to 1:45, another Health Connections class, Osteo Break Free in the Tarpon Room. At 2:15, we have a special social event entitled Do You Know Your Neighbor, Miami? That's in the Social Center. Church choir rehearsal will be at 5:45 in the choir room of the Village Church. And we round out our Wednesday with prayer and praise in the Village Church at 7:15. Well, thanks so much for joining us for the activities today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Wednesday, June 8th. At 12:30, we have Get Crafty in the Shell Point Wood Shop continuing, and the wood shop on the Island Tunnel. At 1 o'clock, Intermediate Bridge will begin in the Game Room of the Woodlands. This is a brand new series. Tomorrow, we have a couple new classes I'd like to tell you about. Karen Hubbard of Lakewood will be presenting Coloring for Adults. And our Legacy Foundation brings us the second Legacy Seminar this semester, this one focused on thoughtful advanced planning in conjunction with the National Cremation Society. We also will be bringing you the history of the United States to 1850 in another session with Professor Adrian Kerr.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is beef stroganoff. For dinner, they're featuring their a la carte menu, and their soup of the day is pasta fagioli. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the sandwich special is a Philly cheesesteak on a hoagie with fries for $7.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are sirloin steak with red wine demi for $16.95 or grilled scallops with Maltese for $19.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. During the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln frequently visited the hospitals and addressed cheering words to the wounded warriors. On one occasion, he found a young soldier whose legs had been amputated, both legs, and who was evidently sinking rapidly. "Is there anything I can do for you?" asked Lincoln. "Why, you might write a letter to my mother," responded the invalid. not recognizing the concerned visitor. And as the young man dictated in a soft voice, the president wrote, "My dearest mother, I have been shot bad, but am bearing up. I tried to do my duty. They tell me I cannot recover. God bless you and Father. Kiss Mary and John for me." When the soldier checked the letter, to his astonishment, his visitor had written a postscript, written by Abraham Lincoln. "Are you our president?" he asked, in disbelief. "Yes," was the quiet answer. "And now that you know that, is there anything else I can do for you?" Feebly the lad said, "I guess you might hold my hand and see me through." So sitting down at the bedside, the tall, gaunt man, with a heart as tender as a woman's, held the soldier's hand through the night until it grew cold and rigid. I call what Abraham Lincoln did the ministry of presence. You know, there's not much you can do to change the circumstances, but your very presence is a blessing. During the mid-90s, when I was serving in Paris, the news focused on a French Roman Catholic priest, Monseigneur Pierre Claverie, Bishop of Oran, who demonstrated the ministry of presence. Bravely, he insisted on continuing to serve in Algeria when terrorism there was rife and anti-French sentiment was running high in the former colony. "What are you doing here?" asked the reporter. "I'm here for Jesus. Nothing else," replied the priest. "We have no special interest to protect, no special influence to exert. We're neither masochistic nor suicidal. We are here as if at the bedside of someone who is ill, silent, holding his hand and sponging his brow." The bravery and words of Pierre Claverie stuck with me because he paid a high price for his ministry of presence in Algeria. On August 2nd, 1996, he was assassinated as a martyr. The Bible informs us that God has a ministry of presence with those who follow him. Speaking of Jesus, the prophet Isaiah wrote, "The virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. What a name, Emmanuel. God is with us. The ministry of presence. Remember the story of Jacob, who fled from his family in Beersheba when his brother wanted to kill him? Remember how he lay down in the wilderness with a rock for a pillow and had the vision of a ladder reaching all the way up to heaven with angels going up and coming down and up and down and God speaking to him? Remember what God said? "I am with you, Jacob." And when he woke up, Jacob exclaimed, "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I wasn't even aware of it." And his life was transformed by his awareness of the presence of God. No wonder David the shepherd in his famous 23rd Psalm declared, "The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. And even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me." There it is again, God's ministry of presence with those who fear him. And again, see the Apostle Paul facing hard times in Corinth. One night the Lord spoke to him in a vision and told him, "Don't be afraid, for I am with you." And such was the promise of Jesus to his disciples, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." Call to mind the gospel song, "No, never alone. No, never alone. He promised never to leave me alone." Abraham Lincoln and Pierre Claverie understood the value of the ministry of presence. And if you're a Christ follower today, take delight in God's ministry of presence with you. Are you lonely? Distressed? Tired? Or perhaps having a wonderful day? Well, count on His presence and care. And maybe He'll call on you sometime to exercise the ministry of presence for a neighbor or a relative, someone in special need of a friend. And thank you once again for tuning in to Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us for today's program. Tomorrow we'll hear details about the first of the summer concerts from resident Janet Smith. She'll talk about the Stardust Memories Big Band coming next week. And Mackenzie Millis will discuss next week's virtual dementia tours you can sign up for. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Wednesday, June 8th. I'm Adam Brown, thanking you for joining us today, and we'll see you again here tomorrow.